morning, everybody. I welcome you all to this digital classroom for the subject control systems. In the previous lecture, we have derived the unit step response of a second order system. Today, we are going to define for few of the time domain specifications and we are going to derive the time domain specifications. So, in the previous lecture, we have derived the unit step response of a second order system which is given by C of t is equal to 1 minus e to the power of minus zeta omega nt divided by square root of 1 minus zeta square into sine omega dt plus theta. So let's have the look at the output response graph. The output response graph starts from 0 and it rises steeply to its final value, that is nothing but 1, which you are looking for, and it goes beyond the final value and it reaches a very high value, and then again it comes back to the final value and it is not staying in that place, but it goes down and keeps on oscillating around that value. And as time increases, there was a deviation from the final value which is keeping on decreasing towards the final value, and exactly at time t tends to infinity, the second term will be equal to 0 and c of t will be equal to 1. And this time taken, we call it as a transition time, which we have discussed already in the previous lecture. And before it reaches a steady state, we have to discuss about many and important parameters. That is, at what is the first time at which it is actually reaching the final state that we are looking for, and it goes to the highest value throughout its response, that is nothing but the peak value, and the output overshoots beyond the input with the same value called as a peak overshoot. And we have to discuss about many parameters related to this aspect, and we call it as time domain specification, and this is subjected to an undetermined condition. So let us define each of the parameters first and then let us derive for those parameters. So the first parameter of interest is rise time. The rise time is the time taken by the output response from 0% to 100% of value in the first attempt. So here the final value which we are expecting is nothing but 1. So it has reached 1 for the first attempt at this position, and the second attempt, third attempt again it has reached here, and for the fourth attempt and so on. But here our point of interest is to determine the rise time exactly for the first attempt. So now if I drop a line from this point exactly, that is our point of interest, that is nothing but the rise time TR. So exactly at time t is equal to TR, the response will be equal to 1. So I can write the condition as C of t at t is equal to TR. So I have replaced t by TR in the response. It will be equal to 1. The next parameter which we are going to discuss about is about the peak time. Peak time is the time at which the response reaches its maximum value in magnitude, and we have a peak value when the output response reaches over here. Exactly at this position we could able to see the peak time. And if you drop this down, we can obtain peak time Tp. It is somewhere here, and exactly at time t is equal to Tp. So with respect to increase in time, the response increases and the slope is positive. And when exactly it reaches its peak value, the slope will be 0. And again, with respect to increase in time, the slope becomes negative and the response is decreasing. Hence, exactly at time t is equal to Tp, the slope will be equal to 0. Hence, I can write the expression as d by dt multiplied by C of Tp is equal to 0. And this is the condition for peak time. At time t is equal to Tp, we can see how much the output response is overshooting with respect to the reference of the input. Hence, we can call it as maximum peak overshoot MP, which is given by C of Tp minus 1. And we have another parameter called as the settling time. Settling time is nothing but the time taken by the response to reach its steady state. And Even now, the response have not reached its final value. Still, it has approached the point like somewhere 0.98. Hence, the difference between the input and the response 1 minus 0.98, the error will be around 0.02, and the tolerance of error can be accepted up to 0.05. That is, if the response is around 0.95, then 1 minus 0.95, the error will be around 0 to 0.05. Hence, the tolerance, acceptable tolerance of error can be in the range of 0.02 to 0.05, and this we call it as a settling time. And exactly at time t is equal to ts, the exponential term, we have only the exponential term e to the power of minus zeta omega n t, that is exponentially decaying term, and the damping factor zeta and the oscillating factor sine of omega dt plus theta will now come into picture at time t is equal to ts. Hence we can write it as c of ts is equal to 1 minus e to the power minus zeta omega n ts, and sine of omega dt plus theta and square root of 1 minus zeta square will not come into picture when we speak about the settling time ts. And we have one more parameter to be discussed, that is nothing but the delay time. Delay time is nothing but the time taken by the response to reach 50% of its final value. So now we are going to derive for all these parameters. So let us start with the first parameter, time domain specification, that is nothing but the rise time. So I have written the response once again, in which we are going to substitute for t is equal to tr in the above response. So at time t is equal to tr, we know the condition that the response will be equal to its final value, that is nothing but 1. So let me substitute for C of TR as 1 in the above equation. So substituting for C of TR is equal to 1, and further simplification, 1 and 1 will get cancelled out, and if we take this complete term towards the right hand side, it vanishes and we get sine of omega d tr plus theta is equal to 0. So omega d tr plus theta is equal to sine inverse of 0. Hence omega d tr plus theta is equal to pi. Sine inverse of 0 is nothing but pi. Hence I can obtain tr as pi minus theta divided by omega d. So moving on to the next expression, time domain specification, we are going to derive for the peak time. So I have written the response once again, and the condition, in order to find the peak time, let us differentiate the above equation. As we know that exactly at Tp, the slope will be equal to 0. Hence, d by dt of C of Tp will be equal to 0. So we are going to differentiate C of t at t is equal to Tp. So let us differentiate it, and the differentiation of 1 will be equal to 0, and we can apply product rule. We have u as e to the power of minus zeta omega n tp and b as sine omega d tp plus theta. So we can apply the product rule, u dv plus v du. So if you differentiate, I can take 1 by square root of 1 minus zeta square as common. So now u I have written here e to the power minus zeta omega n tp dv. I am going to differentiate it. Sine of omega d tp plus theta, differentiation is cos of omega d tp plus theta multiplied by omega d, then plus I have written e to the power v du. The next term is v du, sine of omega d tp plus theta, and I am going to differentiate for this e to the power of minus zeta omega n tp multiplied by minus zeta omega n. So we have differentiated making use of the product rule. So after simplifying, we have obtained this expression. Then further simplifying, I have just substituted for omega d as omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square. Now we can take from the locus of the poles representation for a second order system, in which we know that sine theta is square root of 1 minus zeta square and cos theta is zeta. Once after substituting for square root of 1 minus zeta square as sine theta and zeta as cos theta, here it is very clear that it is of the form sin A cos B minus cos A sin B. Hence I can write it as sin A minus B, where A is omega d Tp plus theta and B is theta here. So theta will get cancelled out. So I can obtain sin omega d Tp is equal to 0. Hence omega d Tp will be equal to sin inverse of 0, that is nothing but pi. So Tp will be equal to 0 comma pi comma 2 pi divided by omega d. So I can write Tp as pi by omega d. That is, I have taken only for the first attempt. Now we have derived for peak time. So let us move on to the next derivation. Time domain specification for the expression maximum overshoot. So we know the condition for maximum overshoot, MP is equal to C of Tp minus 1. So let me substitute for C of T at T is equal to Tp. And then let me substitute in the formula, that is C of Tp minus 1. So I have substituted for C of Tp in the above equation. So here 1 and 1 will get cancelled out. So MP will be equal to e to the power minus zeta omega n Tp divided by square root of 1 minus zeta square sine of omega d Tp plus theta. Now let me substitute for Tp as pi by omega d, which we have derived for the peak time just now. And if you substitute for Tp as pi by omega d, the equation gets simplified as such, in which omega d will get cancelled out. So I am cancelling out omega d and omega d. And then we know that omega d is equal to omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square. So let me substitute for omega d. So once after substituting for omega d as omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square, omega n and omega n will get cancelled out. And we know that sine of pi plus theta is nothing but minus sine theta. So minus into minus, it becomes plus. So MP will be equal to e to the power of minus zeta pi divided by square root of 1 minus zeta square, the whole divided by square root of 1 minus zeta square into sine theta. We can make use of the same equality, and I can represent sine theta as square root of 1 minus zeta square. So square root of 1 minus zeta square and square root of 1 minus zeta square will get cancelled out. Hence MP will be equal to e to the power of minus pi zeta divided by square root of 1 minus zeta square. And always we used to represent MP in percentage, so it has been multiplied by 100. The next time domain specification is about the settling time. And we know the condition for settling time. First I have written the response again here. And then we know the condition for settling time. And we know that the zeta and sine, that is the damping and the oscillating factor, will not come into picture as it is coming to settle down and going to reach the final value. So the condition is at t is equal to ts will be replaced by c of ts is equal to 1 minus e to the power minus zeta omega n ts. So now for 2% criteria, let me assume that the response have exactly settled at a of 0.98. So I have taken C of Ts exactly at 0.98. So 1 minus e to the power minus zeta omega n Ts is equal to 0.98. So for the simplification I have obtained e to the power minus zeta omega n Ts is equal to 0.02. That is the acceptable error. And taking a logarithm on both sides, we have obtained Ts as 4 divided by zeta omega n. And for 5% criteria, I have considered the condition 0.95. And if you simplify further and if you take logarithm on both sides, we can obtain Ts as 3 by zeta omega n. So for 2% criteria, the time constant is exponentially decaying up to 98% of the input. And we have obtained Ts is equal to 4 divided by zeta omega n, in which we have taken T as 1 by zeta omega n, a time constant. And we have written Ts as 40. And this graph clearly states that at t is equal to 1 by zeta omega n, we have an exponentially decaying term due to the real part of the complex pole. And we know that exactly at this condition, it is a combination of a complex conjugate pole, one at the negative real axis and other on the imaginary axis. So this exponentially decaying term is due to the presence of a root in the negative real axis. And the sinusoidal oscillation is due to the root which is present on the imaginary axis. And for 5% criteria, the time consumed in exponentially decaying term is up to 95% of the input. And Ts we have derived just now as 3 by zeta omega n. If you substitute for T is equal to 1 by zeta omega n, then Ts will be equal to 3T. So we have obtained the derivation for all the time domain specifications starting from rise time, peak time, maximum peak overshoot, and the settling time. And we have written again the expression for these which we have obtained so far. The rise time the peak time, the settling time 2%, settling time 5%, and finally the maximum peak overshoot. So we have done with this expression, and it is a very important VTU university question. It has been repeated many times for the previous year examinations. And in my next lecture, let us solve few example problems related to time domain specifications. Thank you.